Hello. So this is the book for today, a famous one by Victor Hugo, The Hunchback of Notre-Dame. Okay, I think that I don't need to introduce too much about this book because it's too famous. But do I like the book? Not so much. Not so much. I thought that I would like it, but turned out no, I didn't really enjoy reading the book. But one problem with me is that when I started the book, I would try to read it to the end, and that's okay. I think after reading this book, of course, I learned something, of course, and also, why didn't I like this book? For other books, when I read other books, I would like some characters in those, like if they have strong characteristic, strong person, loving person, yeah, they should have some people, some characters like that in the book. But this book, I tell you, probably because of the time when the author was living in, all the characters, I would say, were either evil or weak or stupid. Yeah, truly. Okay. That's what I think about it. Let's dive into some quotes. The man who wrote that word upon the wall disappeared from the midst of the generations of man many centuries ago. The word, in its tone, has been effaced from the wall of the church. The church will, perhaps, itself soon disappear from the face of the earth. It's just such a thick book, and I just finished reading it yesterday. I think it took me 2 weeks or more. The public was more occupied with the costumes that the actors wore than with the roles that they were enacting. Yes. Sometimes we just focus on what a person look and forget what role they are in our life. There are, although it's a thick book, there's not too many quotes that I like in it, because as I told you, I didn't really enjoy reading the book, so I think I wasn't quite focusing on it. Okay. Friendship is to be brother and sister, two souls which touch without mingling, two fingers on one hand. Oh, love is to be two and to be but one. A man and a woman mingled into one angel. It is heaven. You know who answered that? La Esmeralda, 16 years old. No, nothing about love. No. Life had but one sole object, learning. True. Mothers often love best that child which has caused them the most suffering. I'm sure my mom doesn't love me the most. So yeah, I'm an easy child, I think. don't know why the French author wrote this book desperately. It was so sad, actually. And all the definition about love, about relationship in this book, I don't like them. And I don't know if it's about the time, or it's because of the time, or it's because of the French culture. I don't know. So if this is what French people like, this culture, I wouldn't like French people then. Too negative, and they look at life so pessimistically. Yeah. Women's instincts comprehend and respond to each other more quickly than the intelligences of men, say. And that's true. Women are more sensitive. Poor child, whose life up to that time had been so joyous, so pleasant, so sweet. The first pain had conquered her. Yeah, a strong person, they are just not strong. Because as they are, I think they have to experience many things, many difficulties before they get to that point of being a strong person. For a mother who has lost her child, it is always the first day. That grief never grows old. The mourning garments may grow white and threadbare, the heart remains dark. If there's one thing, one story that I love about this book, and actually, it is just not about the love between men and women, and not about the Hunchback and La Esmeralda. Is also a mother's love, and I love the story. However, I love the story of La Esmeralda and her mother. She lost her child and been waiting for her child to come back for 15 years. And how to say that? She kept that hatred in her. She thought that the gypsy snatched the child from her, and she hated the gypsies for 15 years, holding that hatred. So when she met her child again, well, Esmeralda was a gypsy. The mother wanted to kill the gypsy. So yeah, her child, because she didn't know that La Esmeralda was her daughter. But later she found out, and that was also the moment when La Esmeralda has to be hung. Sad story. Excess of grief, like excess of joy, is a violent thing, would last but a short time. The heart of man cannot remain long in one extremity. They say that time heals every pain, every wound. True, I totally believe in it. But during the time of healing, you need to separate yourself from the source of pain. That's the key point. Love is like a tree. It sprouts forth of itself since it rules out deeply through our whole being and often continues to flourish greenly over a heart in ruins. Too negative. The more blind in this passion, the more tenacious it is. It is never more solid than when it has no reason in it. Love is more solid when you don't have any reason why you love a person. You know why it's like that? Because reason connects to the brain. You have to think about the reason why you love that person, and when you don't think, you just let the heart does what it does. Love gets more solid that way. The human heart can contain only a certain quantity of despair. When the sponge is saturated, the seed may pass over it without causing a single drop more to enter it. There just enough pain, a certain amount of pain or feeling that the heart can carry. When one has an idea, one encounters it in everything. Yes, that's so true. I remember, so I've been traveling in Australia. I traveled with this girl, and at that time she had a crush on a name called George. And you know what? When we travel, she saw George Street, George restaurant, everything with the name George. That was so funny. And also in Australia there is a big bank brand name St. George. So yeah, that was everywhere. And of course it's so hard for her to forget about him. Well, there are more and more posts near to the end. Such a life. It is often our best friends who cause us to be overthrown. Human actions are taken by two handles, that is branded with disgrace in one, which is groaned in another. Human life, for the great as well as for us, is a mixture of good and evil. Pain is always by the side of joy, despondent by the depthty. Nothing touchy when it comes from the man who one does not love. Oh, that is so true. That is why I always advise my friend not to chase a person who doesn't love them. Because no matter how kind they are, no matter how smart, how rich, how intelligent they are, the other person doesn't love them just for that. You know, if there's no feeling, all the criteria, all the values don't matter anymore. There are moments when women's hands possess superhuman strength. That is about the mother. She did everything to protect her child. Alright, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So a book which is very famous, but I don't like. If you ask me to read this book again, it's not gonna happen, I tell you. No. Too negative. Too negative. Alright, that's it. I'll see you next time, hopefully. Have a good one.